to start interviewing people. I used to interview songwriters, and I have so many fun friends that I think we'd all like to get to know a little bit better. So we're starting out on our way. I'm kind of moving the camera around with one of my very dearest and best friends who's driving, so we're not going to bother her too much. Shandon. So Shandon has Visible Faith Jewelry Company. And so I thought it'd be fun to just kind of ask some fun questions. Of course, it's the Hop House Kitchen, so we're going to talk about food too. But first, we're going to start. Hey, Shan. Hey. Okay, so first question. Let's talk about how. First of all, one of the most interesting things about Shandon, I think, when I first met her, because she and I went to Tarleton together, was like how far you moved, like where you lived when you were growing up. Like, I just thought you were such a warrior and such a cool person. So how far were you from town, and you like didn't have like electricity or some kind of crazy stuff?
It's like, I don't know, 65, 70 miles to town, and one way.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we grew up without electricity for a lot of our time. We had like kerosene lamps and a wood stove, and we heated with wood, and we had a lot of wool blankets, and we had an outhouse.
Isn't that crazy?
Fun. Yeah.
You know what I think is crazy though, is I also love the fact that like it was never like poor me.
Oh,
you know, it was just that's how you live.
That's
just what you are.
do.
I love that. And that was out in Nevada,
yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yep, in the middle of Nevada, Austin, Nevada, and Round Mountain and Tonopah, Nevada. I actually graduated high school in Tonopah.
In Tonopah.
But at that time, I had electricity.
Yeah, by that time, by high school.
Yeah, by high school we did.
Okay, so how do you go from there to Tarleton to jewelry?
Well, I went to A&M first.
Yeah.
And then I liked the rodeo scene and wanted to be more involved in all that. So it wasn't as prominent at Texas A&M. Tarleton had a lot more people that were into and on the rodeo team and whatnot. Back then, it was before any like horse people lived in Stephenville. At that time, there was just a few little cutters and nothing else really. And so then I went to A&M for a year and a half, and then I wanted to transfer to Tarleton because I liked the area because it was smaller and school was smaller and it was a lot cheaper, which was a huge benefit for me. So I went to school at Tarleton, got both my degrees there, and
met an amazing friend.
Yep, I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Go on, continue.
Got an amazing friend. True that.
Lots of them actually. Yeah, lots of them.
But anyway, then I ended up in Llano, Texas. I was working with a nursery as a nursery person, and then I got into landscaping and did landscaping and nursery and I don't know, lawn maintenance and irrigation and all that fun stuff.
All the stuff
for like 8 years, and then when I got pregnant with my second kid, I decided that it was too much hands-on, too much time away. Didn't want my kids to have to go to daycare, so started thinking on it, started praying about it, wondering what I was going to do, and God gave me the idea to do Christian jewelry. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even wear jewelry, so I was like, well, I'd always been an artist, so I thought, well, okay, I'll figure it out. So infancy of the internet, got online, found a school in Florida that would teach me how to do wax carving.
Yeah.
And went down there for 3 days, made my first 2 pieces by carving out wax and then doing the whole casting process and finishing it all out. Started with that, and that's how I got going with the jewelry thing. And I had a little portable building that Brad had used, and it was like a little cedar shed, and I put a table in the middle of it, and I started making jewelry there. We did beading and all sorts of stuff like that. It's been 20 years since I started.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just kind of evolved. I started with my Christian line first. It was with the My God tags, and we did a lot of personalization, and at that time nobody really did that, so it was pretty popular. Do trade shows, go to little peddler shows. I know you came and helped me one time in Fredericksburg at a little peddler show, and we just had a few little items, and it just kept growing and growing and growing, and we did wholesale, and then we did retail, and then after about, I don't know, 12 years, I got bored, and I was like, man, I either want to do something different or I got to start doing something new. So then I picked up turquoise.
Yeah.
I was like, this is kind of interesting, but it's a totally different process of jewelry making. And so I self-taught how to do it.
That is just amazing.
Just watched some videos online and just figured it out, and still am.
I love it. So, okay, so you also, so when we were in college, Shandon at her house would have, like, she did a painting for me that was like a ballerina. Do you remember that? And She was always doing artsy stuff anyway. But when did you, like, weren't you doing like bronze stuff back when we were in college, or kind of messing with it?
I was messing around with it, but I just didn't have enough experience with it to understand what I was doing. I really didn't understand the ins and outs of it. I just knew that I could capture things, but I really didn't understand how to build the forms or do anything structurally to make the clay do what it's supposed to do, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
And instead of taking time to figure it out and research it and buy a book, I just let it go. And I worked in 2D the whole time. I did a lot of paintings, a lot of commission work. Throughout the years, from way back in high school, I did art, lots and lots of art. I just didn't want to be reliant on it. I didn't want to be a starving artist.
Right.
So I just didn't ever do it for a living. I always had a real job. But now I do. I rely on it.
Do you think, like, do you ever get, I think about like boredom, kind of like you were saying, I gotta do something different.
No,
so do you think that like jewelry is, like, when you look at 20 years from now, do you think probably still maybe tinkering in jewelry, maybe doing some other stuff?
No, like I would really like to get more heavily into doing my bronzes.
Yeah.
Because I won a fellowship with a famous sculptor, got to go learn how to actually do them and do my first one, and it was great. It was fun. There's nothing like capturing art in 3D.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to do 2D and capture exactly, and I'm very tight in my work in that I want everything to be like perfect.
Right.
And too tight. I'm always having to try to loosen up and not make everything look like
perfect
photo reproduction.
Right.
Because I tend to naturally want to do that. So yeah, I'd love to work on like more 2D and 3D art both. It just keeps my mind fresh.
Yeah.
It just keeps me from getting bored and sick of doing different things. So I like doing new things. Like I've started doing a lot of diamond and gold type work here in the last 2 years. And so, I just keep evolving.
Just kind of evolve.
Just
that's awesome.
Things. But yeah, I kind of skip around too.
Awesome. Okay, so we're on our way to the NFR. How many years have you done the NFR? Your
Since
boots?
2006.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a long time.
Yep, that was my first year.
I love it. Has that grown too?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like as far as what you're doing?
I went from a 10 by 10 booth, and I just did silver. And at that time, I actually had a line called the Saddle Baron Collection.
Yeah.
And it was a reproduction of. I had a partner, and we reproduced famous saddle makers' tooling patterns. We would take molds off of them and then reproduce them with a kind of a unusual material that we had available to us at that time.
Yeah.
We'd make jewelry out of it. I designed it, and I would bring it up here and sell it at the NFR. I did that for the first couple of years. Then I got way more heavily into the Christian aspect of the jewelry making.
Yeah.
And so then I went to like a lot of junior league shows and markets in Atlanta, Dallas, and Denver each year to sell to stores who would then resell it. And so, that was pretty strong for about 10 years. And then I started getting bored with it, and that's how I got into doing the more creative things with, designing. Every day is new when you design a turquoise piece, because you're not just doing the same pieces over and over like you are with a Christian
they're
jewelry.
unique.
They're unique, each piece. So I'm an actual silversmith now, instead of just being a jewelry maker where I'm carving waxes. Now I actually hand fabricate everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do all of it.
So we're talking jewelry one more. Like, where do we find? Because we're gonna get to food here for just a second.
Yeah.
But like, where at the? So it's Cowboy Christmas.
So at Cowboy Christmas, we will be in booth 1639. It's the left main aisle if you're coming in from the front door. On the 1600 aisle on the bottom floor.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the whole aisle. And then at the south point, my husband will be set up there, and he is in the second row from the front door in the carpeted room.
Sweet.
They don't do booth numbers there. I think our booth is number 35, but they don't really mark them there. It's kind of difficult. You just kind of gotta walk.
You just gotta kind of wander around.
Yeah, they don't really, like in the convention center, they have all these signs hanging from the ceiling that have each row, but for whatever reason at South Point, you just kind of gotta walk around.
You gotta walk around.
Yeah.
That's good. You can shop around, see everything.
Yep.
Okay, and Shandon has entrusted me to help her. I don't know how much help I'm going to be, but I'm excited I get to help her with the jewelry show. Okay, so let's just talk food for just a second, because it's the Hop House Kitchen, so we're going to tie food into all this fun stuff. So Shan, I think that you actually bought me my first cookbook ever when I moved out to Scottsdale. No, this was before. Yes.
I love food.
No, I think Shandon
Who
So
trust me?
before I moved out to Scottsdale, Arizona, Shandon showed me all the good food places, and then I think that she literally bought me my very first cookbook because I did not know anything about cooking, which is funny because I've got a kitchen. I'm about to start cooking for y'all. But Shandon bought me like several cookbooks and some stuff to kind of outfit my kitchen out there. I still use everyone's favorite chicken salad, which I'll have in the Hop House kitchen, is out of one of those cookbooks.
That's awesome.
I'm not kidding. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
So, where did you learn how to cook, and where did you
My
love
mom
of
was
food?
a great cook. And,
Yeah.
I mean, she did a lot of like cooking, catering, things like that. Like you go up for hunters and guides and stuff like that, and then she would ride her horse, and they would have all their pack train with all the camp outfit. She'd set up tent and cook for all of the hunters for all season long, and I mean, she just either over a camp stove or over a fire.
Yeah.
And we grew up doing that. We camped almost every weekend growing up. My mom was an excellent cook and did a lot of catering and outdoors
like,
stuff.
yeah, she hunted and did all that.
She's
Yeah,
big time
yeah,
and all that.
yeah.
So we always she always cooked over cast iron over out in a camp.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of grew up that way. We had a little chuck box like off of a chuck wagon, and it had all of our little compartments in it. My dad built it. It had pots, pans, sugar, salt, flour, all your staples and everything were in it year round, and in airtight cans and stuff. So we would just throw it in the back of the truck and go camping every weekend. And Mom would always fix it was like the best meals ever when we were out camping. It was way better than that. And so I just love. Yeah, she cooked a variety. It didn't matter. I mean, like one night it might be stew. The next night she might do, I don't know, fried chicken. You just never know. But she's a very, very good cook. And then my grandmother on my dad's side was an excellent cook. She would make 2 dozen tortillas 2 or 3 days in a row, and always have a big pot of beans, and our old Camarillo family recipes of salsa and all the different kinds
good
of
stuff.
things. Oh my gosh, yes, excellent.
That's
Excellent
awesome.
cook. Yeah.
So it's
I
kind of
love
genetics
food.
too. It's not
I
even
love
grown
food.
around. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I do too. I love it, but you taught me to love food in a different way. Like
I just like food.
like growing up. But I mean, like around you, I was going to Austin or whatever. I grew up not out in the middle of nowhere like you, but in a small town where you didn't have fast food. You didn't run through Whataburger or whatever. But you were always cooking, even in college.
Yeah, even in college we did. We cooked a lot at home. And it was always like good, clean, good food. I think when you grow up on the West Coast, we just cooked different. We didn't fry food, so it's just a different kind. But we just used to a lot of fresh food.
So one of my core memories with Shan is with my parents too, and I would always work every holiday. And Shandon and Shan would work too, and we'd have turkey sandwiches maybe for Thanksgiving.
Or ham sandwiches.
We'd have ham sandwiches from the convenience store. It was always funny because my mom and dad would come up and help us figure stuff out, and then take in all the strays. I remember a time or two at your house, Shan, where we'd have anybody who couldn't go home. Was always welcome, and we'd do holidays together. And so that's one of my
parents took me in. Every Christmas and whatever holidays I couldn't make because I never could go home.
Right.
It was just too far. And so her folks were like my folks. They were my Oma and Opa.
Yeah.
They were great. They treated me just like one of their kids, and they were awesome. I just absolutely loved them to death. They were like my parents.
Just like family.
They were the best.
So, okay, thank you, Shan.
You bet.
That was it.
Okay.
I always say, I may not be the most interesting, but I have the most interesting friends. So that's part of interviewing, and I think everybody wants to hear a story. It's just fun to get to know people and get to know stories. So we're going to do more of these. We're on our way to Vegas, so we might see you at the finals.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Come see us.